All right, another 30 teams, 10 minutes, 30 by 10. NBA, game is a game. Definitely hit subscribe. Bet of the day, NBA nightly notes. Get at me. All right, so the Pacers, fourth seed in the East. Um, 5-5 in their last 10. Won their last game in overtime versus Orlando. Lost at home versus Dallas. Lost to Toronto. No Lowry, no Siakam. So this was just this morning, this afternoon, actually. They lost this game, matinee game. Those games are always weird and tricky, especially with no fans to be playing that early. Um, so I can't really hold that against them. But the main thing to talk about with this team this week is Turner. He missed 2 games. There was some fear that he broke his hand, but he didn't. So he was able to come back, but you can definitely see the difference that he made on the team. Um, he's an early front runner for Defensive Player of the Year, 4 blocks a game. It seems like he's been highly motivated with all the trade talk this offseason. He was someone who you could have gotten for a ham sandwich this offseason. They wanted to trade him for Hayward, and I think that they actually made a smart decision not trade him for him. They have an identity with him and Sabonis in the size, the shot blocking. I do think if you've seen under these 30 by 10s that I've done, I'm talking about how the league is kind of segueing back. The pendulum has kind of swung back to where bigs are starting to make an impact. There was such a guard-oriented team. You had the Warriors with the death lineup with 5 players under 6'9", and I think things have kind of swung back now. You have the Embiid, you have Sabonis that's on this team, you have Bam Adebayo, you have Joker, Anthony Davis. A lot of the top teams have these big men that you have to deal with, and I think that they should double down on that and play with that size. And if they would have gotten Hayward, they probably would have played him at the 4 position. Have him, Brogdon, Oladipo, Warren, and then Hayward, and I just think that's just too much skill overlap. That being said, with Turner, how well he's played, he's still not shooting it as well from three as you want. His attempts have increased, but the efficiency at the 3-point line hasn't increased. I think he's shooting barely at 30%. So now I'm going to contradict myself because I do think now they do have a big hole on the wing position. You have LeVert and Warren who have been hurt. LeVert, prayers up to him. They found a mass on this kid, and he's mentioned that this might have saved his life, and he's out indefinitely. We don't know if he's going to even be back this season. Then you have Warren, who has that injury to his foot, the stress fracture. We don't know what his timetable is, and I definitely see a hole at that 3 position, scoring from that position, from other for the perimeter, from other than Brogdon, scoring and particularly in playmaking, is just lacking, and that's been made very evident this last couple games. And there was a minute there where the Pacers were the chic team in the East, and I think that kind of hype has kind of subsided with the news on LeVert and Warren being out. One positive of this whole 3 position is allowed McDermott to play more. And I was surprised when I looked up his age. I didn't know he's 29, that he's been in the league that long, but this by far is the best that I've seen him play in this extended stretch. I always saw him as a Kyle Korver clone, and he's never really lived up to that billing. But the past couple games, he's been balling out. 5 straight games with double figures. The Nash line, he's been in double figures. So really shooting the ball out really well. The flip side of that, the Holiday brothers, I've been surprised at the way they've played this year. Justin has shot at will, but he hasn't really defended it as well as I would like. And he's a real slight guy. So, a lot of the bigger wings will give him problems. Like, I don't think he could, last year Miami put Crowder on Giannis when they played. I don't think he could, live up to that type of punishment. I think he probably would struggle guarding a Jimmy Butler, more physical players. But that's where those 2 other wings that I mentioned come in. Aaron, I had high hopes for him as a bench scorer, and I just haven't seen that. He's been atrocious shooting the ball, um, and they've given up leads. That Orlando game that I mentioned, they had a 10-point lead, and the bench kind of tricked it all away. So, when you get LeVert back, if you get LeVert back, if you get Warren back, that solves a lot of the problems that they have. But we'll definitely see if that, is a possibility and if these guys can come back at all. Brogdon and Sabonis have been killing, but they've kind of slowed down the way they've kids, in particular Sabonis. And this season's going to be like that. I think you're going to get lulls and stretches from players and high play and low play with the games coming as fast as furious as they are. And then not having fans to really pick you up on those nights that your energy is dragging and you need your fans to pick you up. So I think their play subsiding is coalesced with, people kind of losing support of the Pacers as this chic pick. But I could definitely see it happening, and depending on when Warren and if LeVert comes back. Um, so hopefully, I think Warren has more optimistic chance of coming back, but we'll see. They have the Hornets twice this week, Toronto and Philly. Toronto, I think, is a team that found its groove. They won with no Siakam and no Lowry today. So we'll see going forward how they look. But that's not a game that just shy away. And Philly is obviously the big game. Embiid has destroyed Turner in matchups before. I think that's a lot to put on Sabonis's plate for him to score and then defend Embiid as well. The rookie that they drafted, Bataza, hasn't really played any dividends at all so far. So you would hope to see that he starts to play better and starts to show signs of life. But that Philadelphia matchup, number one team in the East, team that they definitely would have to play and go through, a team that they should potentially match up well with their size and their bigs. That's a big game. I want to see what happens in that game. So right now the arrow's down on Indiana. Once again, that hole of the three is kind of apparent. It's a bummer that LeVert got that. Prayers up to him. Hopefully everything's all right with him and Warren of bubble stardom. Started the season off with that foot injury. Just put in a bad place, but hopefully they can get back. So there's some cause for concern, but they do have reinforcements potentially coming in. So we'll see what that means for the Pacers long term. So that is my breakdown of the Indiana Pacers. 30 teams, 10 minutes. We're going to do this every week, hit every team. So if you have a fan, if you're a fan of an obscure team, just know that I'm going to talk about your team, watch a lot of basketball, watch every team. Been watching your league pass for years, and I love talking about the league, and finally was convinced to do it on a full-time basis. So come on, show some faith in your boy. Hit subscribe. Tell your friends if they're a fan of the Hornets or uh, uh, what other teams that nobody pays attention to. The Pelicans, nobody really pays attention to. I mean, they have Zion, so people pay attention to now. Minnesota. I'm gonna talk about them. So definitely hit subscribe. Bet of the day, check that out. And Bleed Nightly Notes is going to start on Monday. So get at me. Game is the game. Stay safe. Stay solid. See you soon.